Welcome, everyone. So, just feeling a little bit kind of intense these days. Not necessarily bad, but just like life's a little bit edgier or more. There's a lot going on the astrological front, and I'm going to pack in like a bunch of information in a short period so we can get into what's really important, which is integrating the energy that we're feeling, however we would feel it. And the way the universe works and the way astrology kind of paints that is there are kind of world transits, shall we say, things that are happening for us collectively, and then how does that impact us individually? So each one of us is going to be impacted by what's happening in a completely unique way. So everything I'm saying is a sort of general vibe and field of what's happening, and in a personal reading you would see where exactly it was in your chart, what it might be impacting, or sometimes some of it's not impacting any part of our chart, and you're just like, I don't know what they're talking about. Everything's just chill. Whereas somebody else that might have 0 degrees Aries in their chart, like a friend whose birthday it was yesterday, it's like they're going to be feeling it a lot. And so what is it? Well, first of all, it's the equinox. The equinox time, the actual equinox was Thursday, but it's a period, and it's a transitional period. And what is the equinox? Anybody have a word that they know of that would describe what equinox means?
Equanimity.
Balance.
Yeah. Both are true. Equa, balance. Equal, what's equal? Day and night is really the visceral experience of what we experience at equinox. Is it's the day and night are equal. And what does that actually mean? Well, in actual technical terms, the Earth is a sphere, but it has its poles, so it's like a spinning top. It's kind of on its side, and it spins, and its north pole points, and it spins and moves around the sun. And so our north pole actually turns and points in a different direction at each time of year as it spins around the sun. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. And so when our direction of the Earth points towards east, that's spring equinox. When we point towards the west, it's fall equinox. So in the spring we have east equinox. We always call it Easter. The east. And what's interesting is as the Earth aligns, and so that's what starts the wheel of the zodiac. The astrological new year is equinox, the new birth, the energy Aries coming in from the energy of Pisces, the end of the old cycle into the new, at this sort of not just arbitrary point, but a very specific point in our experience of life on Earth. Not just equal day and night, but this direction the Earth is pointing towards east. And also another not arbitrary fact, but a scientific one, is for whatever reason, when the Earth is pointing in this direction, the magnetic fields of the Earth come down. It's kind of like in Star Trek, we have like shields up, and at this time it's like shields down. And so galactic energy can come in easier. And we see this viscerally by the fact that no matter where we are in the solar cycle, there's a lot more aurora at the equinoxes, especially at the spring equinox, but both of them. There's like this shields down thing, so the Earth is receiving more electromagnetic energy from outside. And at this time, we're in the peak of one of the most strong solar cycles that we've lived through. There was some pretty amazing auroras I saw last last year. I don't know if anybody caught those.
Even here in Barrie, you can see
Yeah.
it.
And at this point in time, that energy, even if it wasn't a solar storm, we're more likely to experience. And another thing that's happening right now, which scientists have just discovered, and they're not sure what it is, but there's like literally pulses of light coming from the center of the galaxy that are happening at this time. And with the Earth's shields down, we're kind of more able to receive whatever that is. What is the center of the galaxy? The center of the galaxy is, they used to call it a black hole. Now we're not so sure. But there's something that is supercharged with energy at the center that holds everything together in this galaxy. And energy emits from it. And we can align with that. And I'm trying to say all this because it'd be very easy for these things to just sound like kind of new agey, whatever. Is it real? Is it not? Is it somebody just saying that? But they're actually, scientists have seen this. So we don't know exactly what it is. And we can use our imaginations and our intuitive, most important, our intuitive selves to tune in. So that's part of what's happening right now. But we also have at this time, this is probably the most potent equinox of our lives. It's not a randomly challenging time. We see the state of the world. If we tune into it too much, we're actually extra sensitive right now because of everything I said. So one of the key things might be a takeaway is to really try and unplug from the noise out there, media-wise. I know it's very engaging and gripping, and it feels really important because there's really important things happening, and I'm not saying to ignore them and be airy-fairy about it all, but to not let it take us into fear. If there's something that we can do and step up in our individual lives, this is a time for it, whatever that is. But it's not a time to just be impacted by it all and feel helpless. And that's the key for the energy at this time. We have a huge pileup of planets right now, right at the equinox point. So it's not just the sun at the equinox point, which would be normal. We have an eclipse that just happened, another eclipse about to happen. The eclipse would be a solar eclipse, meaning the new moon in Aries. We have Neptune at the 0 point, just at the very last second of Pisces, about to go into Aries. It's been 165 years since it's been at this point. And, some astrologers will freak you out by reminding you that this was where it was when the U.S. Civil War began, among other astrological portents that are similar to now. But the key really is like with this planet here, and also we have Venus and Mercury, which really normally zip by an area because they're both retrograde. They both stop at the same early degree of Aries, slow down, slowly moving backwards from our experience on Earth. They don't actually move backwards, but our experience of them, where they are in the sky. They're hovering at the 0 degrees Aries point, going back and forth between Pisces into Aries, Aries back into Pisces, and then forward. Which means because of that, they're staying in this position for a couple months, which normally they'd take a day or two to go by. And a bunch of other things. The key one being that 0 degrees Aries point, as Neptune enters Aries the end of this month, right after the eclipse, literally like the day after the eclipse, we will have in July Uranus entering Gemini that 0 degrees Gemini will harmoniously connect with that Neptune. Pluto has just entered Aquarius last year, and it's hanging out at that early degree of Aquarius. So these three create this activating triangular relationship, which is very like they support each other. It's like air blowing on fire. In the 0 degrees, Aries point is the center, and the other two are just like blowing on this fire and getting it going. Which this alignment of the three outermost planets hasn't occurred this tight for almost 2,000 years. And every time it has occurred, it creates a lot of planetary change. Not planetary in terms of the planet, but in terms of our society. Societal change is a better word. Collective consciousness change. And consciousness is probably the best word for it. It's like a consciousness shift. And we think about what Neptune is our cosmic consciousness. Uranus is our sort of inventive consciousness. And Pluto is like deep transformative energy of death and resurrection. And the three together create a very strong need to change the way we've been doing things.
So
And
that's the day after the solar eclipse.
well, the day after the solar eclipse, Neptune enters Aries. And then Pluto entered Aquarius last year. Uranus is entering in July. So the three are starting this spring and moving through for the next couple years. These planets, because they're slow and because of just the symbolic cosmic nature of this moment of time, they're all going to just kind of hang out together in this triangle for a couple years.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like this conflagration of energy trying to come through. If we're ready for it, we can ride this wave and have massive internal shift and collective consciousness shift. If we fight it, fear it, get angry at it, we can get just crushed by it. Like it's just so intense. And we can't stop it. We can't blame it or anyone else. And that's, I think, that one of the key things for this moment of time, where we have this movement, in particular with Neptune, because Neptune is this planet of boundaryless openness to source, cosmic consciousness, cosmic love, energy. Beautiful, right? You'd think wherever it touched would create like a really beautiful thing. But this open, boundaryless place can create a lot of illusions, delusions, and the boundarylessness of I don't know who I am, I don't know who you are, which then can turn into victimized feeling, giving one's power away, being just like tossed by the winds, or feeling like I'm just a victim, it's their fault. And Neptune moving through Pisces, which is its own sign, emphasizes that kind of quality. So if one's doing really intense spiritual work, Neptune and Pisces with Saturn there in the last few years, I haven't brought that in yet, has created the opportunity for deep spiritual work.
We're ready. We're ready.
Are we, though? Because this is what we get. The world as it is as it is for a reason. It's not like it's a good thing or anything. It's just the impact of that forces us to really work our spiritual muscles. To really work, can we be in peace when the world feels like it's, hell in a handbasket? It's like, can we not blame it? Can we find our own internal alignment, external, apart from the external? And one of the sort of the worst things about one of the most biggest problems we're facing is that we are so encouraged to be in that external right now. You know, we can plug in every time we pick up the phone. It's just like boing, news, boing. You know, like swipe, 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 doom scroll, like into this vortex of energy that before you know it, you're in it. And it shifts our consciousness into that dark, victimized, hopeless place. Yet, if we unplug from that and really look at our lives and deal with what's up and work with what life is calling us into in our own life, whatever issues are up, and just work with that, we can really, in little ways, make a difference to the whole picture right now in a way that is more extreme than normal. Let's put it that way. Like our individual impact, Aries individual, has more impact on the world than it normally would, especially when it's coming from an aligned place. You know, one thing that in a world where we're kind of encouraged to be in this doom kind of zone. You look at like any online stuff, I mean, it's just one thing after another, like, oh my God, it's the end. These crazy, like, you know, you're on YouTube or whatever. It's like everything just feels like it's so dramatic. And energetically, it is, but it just is. It's not bad or good. It's like the tide's turning. There's a moment in time where we've got this energy, just like the energy of this time of year. Another thing around the Aries Equinox, you know, each sign holds a quality of its time of year. And Pisces is the quality of late winter. And what is late winter? Well, we've just gone through it. What was it like? Moist, mushy, and like the snow's melting, but it's still there. The buds aren't really safe to come out, although they did last week, and a little too early. Poor buds. But it's like all the snow is melting and going into the earth and awakening the seeds. They're all kind of going, "Ee, I feel it coming." And it's like that Pisces energy is like breaking the shell of the seeds, opening it up to its vulnerability and the softness of new life. And the only way to create new life is to be super vulnerable. Like it has to leave its safe seed form and to let that shell go and crack through, which is the cracking through is Aries, that little shoot. And it's a pure magic moment when you ever sprout it and you just have this bag of seeds and you put them in and you see, poof, life just comes from a bit of water. It's amazing. And so this Aries Equinox energy is that. It's that quality of just the little new life bursting forth and the vulnerability of that coming into the world. It could get eaten, anything could happen, but it has to go through that vulnerable place. Otherwise, it's just this dormant energy. And if it stays there too long, it could get eaten or rotten or whatever. So the energy needs to come forth. So, in light of that, it's like the Pisces energy can feel this victimized, like life is happening to me and I'm powerless. Or it can be like, I let go completely and trust the divine and allow life to happen through me. Not to me, but through me. Just letting it happen through. And then Aries comes in and goes, all right, it's time to grab that energy now. It's kind of channel it, to focus it, Aries. Where are we going to direct our new energy? And this creates this sort of energy of moving away from that sort of life is happening to me to like sovereignty of like, this is my energy, this is where I'm directing it, that's happening out there, I choose not to be a part of it. Aries can be very fierce with that. It's just like very strong with boundaries. Sword. no, no, yes, boom. It's very different from the Pisces stuff. So as Neptune, the planet of Pisces, moves into Aries, we have this opportunity for clarity. Clarity in ourselves, clarity with some of the effed up stuff going on in the world, maybe. Some of the stuff where we don't, oh wait, I've been pulled into this too much, or whatever it is. A newfound clarity can come through this time. And incredible new inventions, incredible new opportunities. This time, astrologically, as challenging as it might seem, especially with what we're seeing in the world, is actually a really beautiful time. It's a time where likely humanity will look back and see it as a change point. Things changed at this point.
We were born for it because we're
We
here.
were.
We
You
were
know,
born
and
for this.
you know, I don't know if anybody saw my YouTube post on this, but I start that off with saying, like, most of us in this room were born with Neptune and Pluto in aspect, because we're in a rare time of history where they just hang out together. And because of the way that Neptune and Pluto cycle, even though one's like a 250 and the other's like 160 kind of year orbits, it's like they intersect in a way where they come into alignment for an 80-year period. And so a lot of us were born with some of this energy already, and those born in the mid-60s were born with the first part of this alignment. So well, the first part of it was World War II-ish, but the full impact of it when Pluto and Uranus came together in conjunction in sextile to Neptune in the mid-60s, we had the 60s, which is our word for this energy. And around 2012, we had the first challenge to that. Around the late 80s and the sort of harmonic convergence, New Age movement kind of thing that happened. That was another harmonious moment in time with it. And now we're in the sort of final harmonious push. And it's harmonious, but it's also edgy because of other things going on. So, but still, it's like, it's kind of this wave that if we ride it in 20 plus years time, mid-40s, 2040s, there's going to be a kind of likely a real renaissance of this energy, and a real, you know, the seed point of the cycle was in Virgo, and so that the flowering of it will also be Virgo Pisces, so Virgo coming back to the sacredness of Earth. And so it feels really technological and kind of like we're leaving the Earth behind almost at this time, but it's kind of like part of what we need to go through to create the technology, to create the consciousness that is going to return to a sacred Earth consciousness eventually, somehow.
Bring it, bring it.
That is the qualities of this time. And so it's a very radical time, it's a very revolutionary time, and the revolution, there's a quote by late 60s, the revolution will not be televised. We're not going to see it on our phones.
Right.
It's happening in our hearts and in spaces like this. You know, the in-person collective little groups are where the energy is going to build, where we're going to realize things aren't as bad as we're being told they are. The divisions aren't real. And that there is, the other thing with that is one of the most revolutionary things we can do is not go into fear at this time, and to really fiercely, with an Aries energy, grab onto love and joy and just go, this is what I choose. This is how I choose to live my day. I'm not going to wake up and look at the news and feel like we're doomed. You know, we're going to do what it takes to feel joy and to spread it. And that, at this moment in time, is kind of a revolutionary thing. And it could be even looked down upon. Oh my God, how could you be in joy when, like, the world's fucked? And it can feel like that for ourselves and for myself. But that is the challenge of this time. And so the next part of our program is going to be, we're going to go into like a meditative sound, what I call a song bath. So the songs are going to be like little meditative experiences. And then get ready, because likely at the end, if the energy feels right, I'm going to shake you all up and bring this into your body.
He wants us to dance. Maybe.
So in light of all that,